I'm going to talk to you about what it really takes to build a successful business and kind of on the entrepreneurial side. So let's do a hands up. Hands up, who thinks they might want to run their own business one day? Oh, there's a few hands. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, cool. So all of you that don't, it doesn't matter. You're still going to take something from today, and maybe it might make you think that you do want to run a business. But I'm going to talk you through some of the highs and the lows and the things that you have to think about if you wanted to start your own business. So, I'm Becky. You know who I am. So I'm the founder of the Human First Collective, and you'll see some of our team upstairs. So I run multiple businesses. So my initial, I call it my baby, my first business that I started in 2011 is called Reflect Digital. And again, you'll see us upstairs. And I suppose different to Pete, obviously Pete said he wasn't sure that he wanted to run a business. It was different, and you'll have heard me say it in the video, because I'd seen my dad running his business, and I was so lucky to have him there at home running this business. I knew I wanted to run a company, so I just had that fire in my belly that I wanted to run a business. So the same as the people that put their hands up in the room today, that was me, I knew, but I didn't really know what the business would be. So I went on to create Reflect Digital, which then we've ended up creating a group called the Human First Collective. So within our group, we have 4 different businesses, which includes Aspiration Digital. And we've gone on the journey to actually start buying other businesses now. So really exciting time within the business. And I guess we're a much different scale to the business Pete works in. So global, 2,000 odd people. We are 75 people across the UK. We've got a few people actually dotted around the world now, but we're mainly based in the UK, and our hub and our home is down in Kent. So we had a 8-hour journey yesterday, Paul, from Kent to drive up to see you wonderful people in Newcastle. But we've got people dotted all around. One of my colleagues, Adam, is doing a talk in one of the other rooms. He's from Newcastle, but lives in London now. But 75 people across the UK. And we've scaled from 0 to over about 5 million revenue per year across our businesses. So that's the kind of size of our business. So different to the size of Omnicom, but still, there's businesses of all different sizes and shapes and formats. And when we started, to think that we'd ever turn over 5 million felt like a long, long way off. But now that's our reality, and we're growing on from there. So what does it take if you want to start a business? Well, it takes passion, and I think Pete alluded to this as well. You've got to find something you love that gets you out of bed every day, that you're excited to talk to people about. So I'm not going to tell you too much today about what our business does. I'm going to talk to you more about running it. But if you ask me to, oh my word, would I talk all day long about what our business does and why I love it and why I'm excited by it, because it just genuinely flows through my body that I just love it. So trying to find something you're passionate about, something you're driven to do. So there will be days, and actually we were talking last night, Pete gets up, you're out the house by 4:45 every morning. 4:45? Yeah. 4:45. You have got to have some kind of drive in your body to get you out of bed every day to want to drive somewhere, to be somewhere. But that comes back to the passion point. You've got to have those things come together, because you've got to love it. And then if you love it, it's not too bad to get up early or to do whatever it is that your business requires you to do. That means you've got to have that drive and motivation. I will have weekends where I've got plans with my friends, and I sometimes have to cancel them because I'm like, no, I've got this big thing coming up. I've got Aspiration Digital we're running, and we've still got things to do, that I will cancel things because I've got that drive and energy, and I don't really mind because I love it. Obviously, it's always nice to still see your friends and try and find balance, but there'll become points when you're running your own business where the balance goes out of weight and you can't really change it because it's your business and you have to do it. So you've got to be driven. And you've got to be committed to that point. You've got to say, well, this means everything right now. I've got a team that are depending on me, so I have got to show up and do what I need to do. But you've got to have an awesome team. So you will probably start on your own. A lot of people do. You might have a co-founder. I started on my own, literally set up an office in my room at home. And do you know, actually, again, to the point Pete was talking about, so Pete at one point in his career got given the title of managing director. When you start your own business, you're like, well, I guess I'm the managing director of nothing, because it doesn't. So I remember I found that really tricky at first. People would say, like, what's your job title? And I'd be like, managing director, and try and move on, because I was like, it feels really weird to call myself that. I was 22 at the time, so I wasn't much older than you in the room today. So it felt really sticky for me to say that. But anyway, I got around it and yeah, moved on. But you end up building a team around you, because you need brilliant people, and you need to be able to inspire them that this journey that you're on is exciting for them as well, and they need to show up every day and want to do the job that they're doing, etc. So really important to be able to build a good team around you. The ability to problem solve. And we literally, when you're running a company, problems come at you from all angles all the time. And I'd say that is probably one of my number one skills. We were doing this yesterday, weren't we, upstairs? If someone suddenly says something doesn't work and you're like, okay, well, there must be a way. We're going to find a way. And having that ability to kind of think around things and think of how we're going to do things differently. We've already had a number of challenges this morning. We've had schools arriving late and we're like, oh, we've got to change things. But that ability to be changeable and to come up with ideas of how we're going to solve problems and to try not to get phased by them. And obviously over the years I've got much better at this. I was not so good at this when I first started, but it's a really important trait. Now, to be creative. Now, if you'd asked me when I was your age or younger, are you creative? I would have said, oh no, I'm not good at art. That would have been my answer. I thought creative meant art. And if you saw any of my drawings when I was doing art at school, they were terrible. Like, I even struggled to draw a stick man. I was that bad at art. But creative is much more than art, and that's what I learned when I left school. It was around like creative thinking. And actually in our business, we do a lot of creative work. And I would say I'm probably one of the most creative thinkers in our business to come up with ideas. And then I've got incredible people in my team that can bring it to life and make it look fantastic. Or we also now have AI that I can put briefs into ChatGPT or Nano Banana or any of these cool tools out there, and they can build things and bring my ideas to life. So being creative is more than being good in art lessons. It's a way of thinking, and it's a way of bringing ideas together. You have to be able to get your hands dirty in a business. I always come back to a story. We were moving offices, and moving offices is hard work. I'm sure you've done it. And you'll get people in to help, and you'll have removal people and whatnot, but you're on the ground, you're directing things, you've got this vision of what this office looks like. But also, I just remember when one of our office moves, it was like the Sunday, and we'd worked the whole weekend, and we were trying to have it perfect for the Monday morning. And the toilets weren't clean, and we didn't have a cleaner coming, so I was like, well, I'm gonna get the toilets clean. Like, it doesn't matter, like, you just are willing to do anything that you need to do in the business. And obviously we do have cleaners that come to our offices regularly, and that's not something I find myself doing regularly. But if our team need us to help out to do something, my job is to be there to enable them, to support them. And if that means I need to make something happen, then I will absolutely get my hands dirty and make it happen. So we're in the top 1% of agencies. Now that is based on size. So many agencies out there are micro agencies. They're 1, 2, 3 people agencies. The ones that make it over £1 million worth of revenue is only the 1% of all agencies. So Omnicom are definitely in there, OMG, we sit in there as well, but there's a ton of different agencies. And if you don't really know what an agency business is, like, we work for clients in many different ways, and there's so many different types of agencies, but we put work out into the world, creative work, digital work, products, we put advertising across the world, we create websites, all things like that, and you'll hear probably a bit more about that. But we sit in the 1%, and part of why I think we've been successful is we challenge the norm. So we run a 4-day week in my agency, which this was me on Sky News back in 2018. Got invited to just talk live on the the Sky News breakfast programme about us starting a 4-day week, because it was really revolutionary then. There's now a lot more businesses that do it, still not all businesses, but our team get the opportunity to just turn up Monday to Thursday, and Friday is their weekend. They get a 3-day weekend every week. And why not? We found a way to make it work in our business. So I thought I'd just share with you 5 common startup mistakes. So if you're thinking, I want to start a business, these I would say are 5 of the things, and these are all things that I did that happened. So you've got this balance, this tightrope, and it really feels like that. of when to bring other people into the business. So whether you hire too early or not early enough, because especially if you're on your own or it's you and a co-founder, there's going to come a point where you're feeling really stretched and you're working more hours than you want to, but you're trying to work out, have we got enough regular money coming in that we can promise someone a job that we can pay them regularly for? And when is the time to do that? Because also we've got tons of different options of how we can interact with staff. We could have people that are on contracts that aren't full-time. We can work with freelancers. We can find friends in other businesses that might do a few hours here and there for us. There's lots of things we can do, but to really get our growth, we're going to want regular people around us. So trying to walk that tightrope to work out when to hire someone, because it's a really big step. Like, I take so much responsibility for the 75 people that every month, on a particular date of the month, I know we have to put salary in their bank that they're expecting. I need to look after them. I need to make sure that they feel like they're working in a safe environment, etc. That's a huge responsibility. And obviously it doesn't start as 75 people, but it grows, and that becomes quite scary to think about. So it builds over time, but you're just trying to get that right. Not having a clear enough proposition. What is it? Why do people come to you? What are they buying from you? Why is it important? So I think that's really tricky when you first start out, is what makes my business different to the business next to me that might look quite like my business? And why would people spend money with me instead of them? So that's a really important one to try and work out what makes you different. Not having clarity on your numbers. So for anyone here that's thinking of starting their own business, but maybe maths isn't your forte, don't panic. It wasn't my forte either. But you need to work out how to understand your numbers. And I didn't study business either. So I didn't go to university. I finished my A-levels. I'd done English, sociology, and photography A-levels. So nothing business related. So I was learning on the go. But we do live in an incredible world now where there's so much information at your fingertips. There's podcasts that you can find. And we mentioned Behind the Future earlier. That's a really good one. But there's webinars you can watch. There's YouTube videos. But also a lot of the finance side of the business, you can run through brilliant programs like Xero, or we've got Sage here today. Sage have got accounting products. And they do a lot of the hard work for you, but trying to make sure you understand what those numbers look like and what they mean and what good looks like is really important. Not valuing your services enough. So, and I don't know, I can't remember if they're coming to your room later. No, they're not actually. They're not coming to your room. We've got a couple of speakers in later that I was chatting to them earlier. And when they started, they were saying they would sell websites for £50. £50. And it's like, you can't even imagine, for £50, it's not even worth doing it. Like the amount of work they would have had to have done for £50. But you start at a price and you're like, oh, it's really hard to justify it. They were university students at the time. That was all they felt they could charge. They now would charge thousands, tens of thousands of pounds. But it's trying to work out what's the right price for the value that you're going to deliver to a business, and trying not to make that about the time it takes you to do it, but more the value it's going to deliver to that person or that business that's going to buy whatever it is from you. So it's a really tough one, but we all know, like, if we bring it back to retail, you could go into Primark and you could buy something for a couple of pounds. You could probably get a dress for a tenner in Primark, but also we could go into a designer store like Burberry or somewhere and we'd probably pay £2,000 for a dress. They're both a dress, but they've been able to create a business that charges differently, that appeals to people differently. So it comes back to proposition, but also valuing what your product is, what it's worth. And then not having an experienced advisor. Now, it's incredible how many, well, and I suppose it comes back to today. You've got so many people with you today that are here just giving their time for free. And that will continue past today. You're going to be able to make contacts today that if you reach out to them via LinkedIn and say, could I have a chat with you? Could we set up a video call? They will say yes, they will chat to you because people are really giving. So finding advisors, building up your little team of advisors, people that can help you with different things. And ideally, you want someone that's a couple of steps ahead of you. So for example, if you wanted to start a digital agency, I absolutely could help you, but actually probably better than me or Pete is to find someone that did it a couple of years ago and maybe has 10 staff and is really early on, because they're going to remember some of the pain of the early days that actually for someone like me, that feels quite a long while ago. But trying to find those people around you that have done it before, because people are so giving, they will give their time, and then as you go on in your career, you'll give it back as well. It's like paying it forward. You want to help those coming up behind you. So finding those people to help you. And some of that might be paid. We have a paid for non-exec that comes and supports our business now. We've got the money to be able to do that. But for many years, we relied a lot on network and finding people around us and just being honest and open, and people will be honest and open back with you. So top tips, have fun. Like running a business, working, it should be fun. Whatever line of work you go into, you want to enjoy it, because life is for enjoying and you will spend a lot of time working. So I really believe having fun and trying to create something. So if you're going to create your own business, you want to think about creating somewhere that's going to be fun to work, that you would want to work as an employee, because you want your team to enjoy it as well. Think differently, that kind of phrase of think outside the box. You want to be able to get different people around you as well that have different perspectives. You don't want to be surrounded by people that just agree with you all the time. You want to find people that go, I don't think that's a good idea, because you need to hear why it's not a good idea, because they might be right, you might be right as well, but you need that challenge around you and to be able to think differently. Getting your ducks in a row early. So actually knowing where you want to go as a business and trying to think about putting the steps in. So actually, when you're starting out, you've got so much more time in your day to once you're busy and you're up and running. So if you can start to write down the process, because you might have created a business around a skill set that you're really brilliant at, but there's going to come a time where you probably don't do it very much anymore. You've got a team that are doing that and you're running the business. So being able to get on paper the processes, the thought processes that you go through, so that when you hire someone, you can go, look, I'm going to teach you, but also I've already written the manual here for you, or I've created the videos you can watch back. Trying to get all of those kind of process bits in place as you go really helps you set up. Cash flow is hard, have a plan. Now, this baffled me. I didn't realize this when I started my business. I thought when I sent someone an invoice, they'd pay it. I just thought that's what happened. You'd go, okay, so we've agreed you're going to pay me £1,000 for this. I'll send you my invoice, and then it sends when you have to pay, and that you'd pay. It doesn't work like that. So actually, some businesses are really good, but some aren't. So actually understanding the logistics of business and cash flow, and because this causes a huge problem. And I remember in our early years, we used to have these really tricky moments where payroll was coming, we needed to pay our staff, and our clients hadn't paid us. So then you're also trying not to look desperate to them, because you don't want them to be worried that you're that to the line with cash, but you're growing, and that's kind of part of the growing pains. So you're then just trying to work it out. And so we were really lucky. My dad was an investor in our business and since paid him back every penny he gave us, which was brilliant. But I used to have Dad, I'm going to need 10 grand to come and help because I've got payroll and the clients haven't paid. But it was just one of those things. It was just, no one told me that. No one told me people wouldn't pay their bills on time. I just thought that would happen. And it gets even harder in the bigger businesses, because you work with some of these huge businesses. They can take 3 months to pay, 6 months to pay, and you just think, well, actually they've got more money. I thought it'd be easier. It's not easier. So just understanding cash flow and things like that is important. Differentiate yourself. So back to that piece around what makes you different. Why would people buy from you instead of somebody else? Remembering that you set the weather in your business. So as you grow a business and you grow a team, and this was something one of my advisors said to me years ago, and I'd never really understood it, but your aura, how you show up at work, your energy that you bring sets the energy. If I stood here today really boring and not wanting to talk to you, you're going to all feel really bored and not want to listen to me. And it's the same in the environment in an office, but also how you present yourself through video calls if that's how you're showing up with your team. So you set the weather, you set what good looks like. So you've got to bring that energy. And even when you don't want to bring your energy, or even when you're worried that cash flow's hard and money's hard and you're feeling really stressed, you kind of need to hide that from your team, because you're going to make them feel stressed, and you don't want them to feel stressed. You want them doing their best work. Practice what you preach. So if you say it's good to get out there and network or be on stage, this is me at Brighton SEO, which is one of the big conferences in our sector. I get out there, I get on stage, I go and do the things that I want my team to do, because again, you show up and show them what you want them to do. Creating a culture that others want to emulate. So actually that moment where we started our 4-day week, that was the moment lots of other businesses started their 4-day week. And people wanted to do what we were doing. If you've got businesses copying what you're doing something right, you're creating something, you're creating a buzz, and then go and talk about it, be open about it. I've done so much consulting for other businesses on how we put a 4-day week in because people wanted to know what we were doing. And I was like, I'll tell you, of course, why not? If more people can benefit, I'd love it. Agree on shared values. So in a business, you have a set of values. Now, you will all have your own values of how you show up in the world, what you think's important, the manners, the things that your parents, your guardians, your important people in your life, your teachers have taught you about what good looks like. And when you create a business, you get to do the same thing. You start to think about what's important to our business. And you use those values to hire people because you want to look for people. You don't want everyone to be the same, but you want them to agree that the same things are important around how we show up at work and how we deliver work for clients or whatever our business does. So we've got 3 values in our business. Now this one's always quite contested, our family value. I did a LinkedIn post about this the other day because some people don't like the word family at work, but there's a real family feel about my team of how we look out for each other, how we support each other, but also how we're honest and open with each other. If you've got a little something in your teeth, we're going to tell you because we care. We don't want you to look silly. We want you to show up and be the best you can be. So family to us is just how we describe it. We're not more important than your own family, though, is something that we always say. Love our craft is one of our values, which is around loving the digital industry and what we do. We're in a world that moves really quickly, and if our people don't understand what's changing and what Google's done today that's different or what new AI tools just launched, that's going to be a problem for them and for our clients. So we want them to love it. So it's one of our values. We look for people to demonstrate that. And then going for gold. Really important that it's going for gold. We can't always achieve gold. We won't always do our best work. We won't always get the best results. We won't always win the awards. But as long as we're trying, as long as we're putting our best steps forward, as long as we know what we could do better and we're having wash-ups and we're talking about it, then we're on the right track because a lot of the time we do get gold. A lot of the time it happens. Now we hire and fire on these. So we look for that in people when we hire them. And then over their probation period, so whenever you start a job, you'll have a probation period where you get a chance for you as the employee, but also for the employer to decide whether it's working, whether you're a good fit or not. And over that period, we will be measuring, does this person really live up to these values? And if they don't, I'm really sorry, you don't fit our business. You will be wonderful somewhere else, but you're not good for us. And we're not good for you. We're not the right place. It's not the good fit. So we hire and fire on them. We have a clear vision, so in our business, and I think, yeah, we've got it on here. So we've got our vision. Our vision is, our purpose is to create a company that helps people and organisations grow. And in our business, we unleash potential by combining behavioural science with the art of marketing. So we use behavioural science is our thing that makes us different, and marketing is what we do for our clients. And then for our team, we want to enable them to do the best work of their careers. So we want to set them up to do brilliantly. For our clients, we want to empower them to achieve their business results. We want to make them look good. And for our industry, we want to inspire our future digital leaders, which might be some of you. So we've got a vision, and we've got a vivid vision, which I don't have anything on that. But we've actually got a playbook that's written all about our vision that describes what our business will look like in 3 years' time. And every 3 years we rewrite it. That makes it really clear for our team to understand where we're going and to see if they feel part of it. But we get buy-in from our team. So I can't just tell our team where we're going. I want to hear from them where they think we should go as well. Like they're part of the process of setting our vision so that they're bought into what we're doing. Be open to feedback. Pete talked about feedback. We in our business talk about feedback every single day. It is so important to be open to feedback. And as Pete said perfectly, you don't have to take it. You might not agree with all of it, but you've got to listen to it because that's what someone else has seen about you. But also you've got to give feedback. You've got to openly be able to share feedback with other people. You've got to look after yourself. If you're not healthy, if you're not well, whether that's by body or mind, you can't show up for your team, you can't do your best work. So you've got to think about what's important to you. So things that are important to me is getting time to work out. I love going to the gym. So I will make time in my week and I'll put it in my diary and I will protect that time because I will be better in the meetings if I've got up and been able to go to the gym. So I work my day around it. And I give my team the flexibility to do the same thing. We've got to look after ourselves. If we're not healthy, we're not going to be able to do great work. favourite boss? So I always say it's quite good to have worked for some other people, because you kind of want to know, like, I've got my angel and my devil on my shoulders. I've got my angel, he was called Phil. He was one of my first ever bosses, and Phil was incredible. He lifted me up, he made me feel good, he gave me feedback. He wasn't soft with me, but he helped me, he shaped me. Well, then I've got Tim. Tim's my devil. He wasn't a very good boss. He made me feel rubbish. He didn't empower me. And I use them as my guides. And these could be bosses that you've got now in part-time jobs that you're doing around school. It could be, it doesn't have to be someone that you've worked with every single day, but remembering people, and it could be a teacher as well. Who's that teacher that lifts you up, that makes you feel brilliant? What is it they do? And how can you emulate that for people that you're managing? And how can you just check in with yourself? Am I treating the team like Phil would, or am I being like Tim? Because I don't want to be like Tim. Focus on your best you, being your best self, working with specialists. You can't do it all. Now, in the early days, you kind of feel like you have to do it all, but as soon as you can start spending money on people that know more than you do, whether that's through hiring them in your business, because actually one of my favorite things to do is hire people that know more than I do, because that's what I want them to do, go and be specialists at their thing, or whether it's working with partners outside of the business that are supporting you, like our accountants. They know accounts much better than us, they give us the right advice, etc. Continue to learn, you'll never be done learning. So you might not have to sit every day in lessons like you do at school at the moment, but you've got to be a lifelong learner to be successful in business. You've got to be open to that and find what's best for you. How do you learn? Is it coming to events like this? Is it podcasts? Is it videos? Is it books? What is it? Find it and nurture it, because you've got to keep learning. Surround yourself with good people. It's interesting, when you go through the journey of setting up your business, you will find some people will really support you and some of your friends will be brilliant. But actually, some of my friends were a bit naff. They weren't great. They didn't really understand when I was having to cancel plans or I was really stressed. They weren't so good. And they're not my friends anymore, but they're not the ones that help me when I need support for the business or when I need an ear. So finding those people that really get what you're trying to do, and you will make new friends through setting up a business. We've got a couple of little communities that we're in where I absolutely have got my tribe that I can rely on, that know what I'm going through, that I can lean on when I need to. So find those good people that can support you. And remember the power of thanking your team, thanking those around you, making sure that, like, sometimes it's money that people need to make them happy, but sometimes just thank you. It goes such a long way, because people work so hard in your business and you don't always get to see them or what they're doing. But I just want my team to always know I'm so grateful for what they do every day, for showing up, for bringing the energy, for delivering the brilliant work. Which, on that note, is a thank you for listening. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Now, if you haven't set up LinkedIn yet, I reckon after today, you're gonna go and wanna set it up. So you'll be able to find me, Becky Simms, if you haven't got it yet to scan. But make sure you do, go and connect with people. We honestly, after this event, we see so many students popping up across LinkedIn and starting to put their first posts out there or comment on things. You might meet someone today that gives you your next step. So just use the opportunity to connect with those people. But just thank you so much.